Hello, Stuff of Nonsense students. Another week starts Monday morning. We're coming towards the end of the semester. And there's still lots to talk about with Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. So I thought today I'd focus on that question that Alice asks the Cheshire Cat. I'll just read it. I'm turning my head to read it to you. Would you tell me, please, which way I ought to go from here? So I was out Saturday, we went for a bicycle ride, and my boyfriend said to me, which way should we go? Of course, I quoted, because if you hang out with me, I quote Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. And I said to him, well, exactly, I'll read it to you so I get it exactly right. That depends a good deal on where you want to get to go. And then Alice says, I don't much care where. So then the Cheshire Cat says, then it doesn't matter which way you go. Okay, so what's all this about? A lot of things, and they're very important things. So it's a question of like goals and destination, right? Do you know where you're going? So for the bike ride, we really didn't care where we went. Turn left, turn right, it didn't matter. And as long as we ended up somewhere and eventually back home, right? So win-win. Okay. But of course, sometimes you have a clear destination. So what I wanted you to think about today is pluses and minuses to having a clear destination or to not knowing where you're going. And if we were in the classroom together, all of us having a conversation, I've had this conversation with students before, and I know it's always interesting and fun because some of you are very goal oriented. So this is not just where you're going on your bicycle. It's that question of where are you going in your life. So some of you might say, I want to go to law school, I want to go to med school, I want to be a journalist, I want to be an engineer. So you know exactly where you're going. And there's advantages and disadvantages to that. Some of you may have no idea. You go like, I don't know, I'm in first year, or most of you are in first year in this class. I have no idea. I don't even know what I want to do. I'm not sure. I'm confused, right? Plenty of Marian students feel that way. And again, there's good things about that and bad things. So usually I draw this out in a long discussion, but I'll, because now I'm already at 2 minutes, 23 seconds. Now I'm gonna give you another example. There's different ways of traveling, and I have, because of the nature of my life, I've traveled both ways. So when I was a kid, my dad planned everything, and we traveled a lot. He was an airline lawyer when I was growing up. We traveled, we took, mind you, I was pretty young, so I've forgotten most of it. I just know I'd been in amazing places when I was a little kid. But he knew exactly, like, he planned, and this was the days before the internet. He knew we were going to be in Paris, we were going to be at the Arc de Triomphe, we were going to see Napoleon's tomb, we went to the Louvre, like hour by hour, okay? So what's good about this and what's bad about this? And the point I want to make is that this attitude towards traveling is a little bit towards attitude towards life. So let's start with the traveling. What's good about my father's method is you see a lot of stuff so that I can say, yeah, I saw Napoleon's tomb. I've been at the Arc de Triomphe. I don't remember that much, but I saw it all, okay? I have been back, luckily. What's bad about it is that if you plan too much, there isn't room for surprises, right? Okay, so then fast forward many years, I've had lots of husbands. One of the husbands, he loved to travel, but he didn't plan. He was a terrible planner. And in fact, we just would go. We're going to Mexico, and we didn't stay at all-inclusives or the things that most people do. It was just like, get on a bus, get off where you like. And again, good things and bad things. Okay, in this case, what was the good thing was, wow, I saw parts of Mexico that the average person, the average tourist will never, ever see. We once stopped in this little town. I got off the bus because I was so nauseous. And we ended up being in a town that looked crappy, but it was amazing. And we stayed for a week and a half. That's how beautiful it was. And I've been back to that town. Okay, so the good thing is you discover things that other people might not, that you might not have if you were following an itinerary. But the bad thing is that, sometimes you're always looking for the right town. And I remember that feeling too, getting off the bus and thinking, are we here yet? Is this the right place? Like, when did we reach our destination? And then this sort of sense that, we're never there. Okay, so now, if you know exactly, if you have a goal, what's great? You want to go to, let's say, med school. That's great because you're working hard towards your goal. So you have focus, which is great. What's bad? Well, lots of things are bad. You have focus. Sometimes too much focus prevents you from doing other things. Another thing is, what if you don't get it? What if, no matter how focused you are and how hardworking, I don't mean to depress you, but not everyone's going to get that dream, right? So then you need plan B or plan, like in my life, plan W. Okay, it's fine. Plan W is great. Okay, then what if you have no idea where you're going? So it's a style of get off the bus in Mexico. What if you're like, I don't know, I'm in Minneapolis managing, I'm not sure there's a pandemic, I don't know what I want to do with my life. Okay, so let's do the bad thing in this case first. The bad thing is it's stressful. They say that indecision is one of the most stressful states that we can experience when they look at emotions and how they're related to stress. So like indecision, feeling like you don't know what you're going to do, that's stressful. So not knowing is stressful, but there's a good thing in not knowing too. So what's the advantage? The advantage is you're open to all kinds of possibilities, right? So where am I going with all of this? First, to tell you, thank you, Lewis Carroll. Thank you, Alice, for asking such a brilliant question that we can ask on the bike path. We can ask about travel. We can ask about life itself. And if I like to give advice to my students. Now I can only do it on YouTube. Maybe we need a bit of both in our lives. So maybe if you're used to really planning, being very goal-oriented, maybe sometimes you need to give yourself a bit of space. And maybe if you give yourself tons of space, maybe you need to be a little more goal-oriented. Okay, over and out. See you tomorrow. Bye.